Have you ever been to a botanical garden and wondered just how all of the magic happens? Well, I'm here at Cheekwood today with Philip Chadwick, and Philip is one of the people who's responsible for all of the design, especially of the color garden here at Cheekwood. Philip, thanks for being with us, and tell me a little bit about the process that you all go through when you begin designing. What's your inspiration?
Well, it starts usually 6 to 8 months before the actual implementation of it, because we go through a lot of design process of it. It usually starts, very, very far back with an idea, like you were saying. So we have to have a conceptual idea, kind of a theme before we even get on paper and start drawing.
Right.
So we like to talk about the things that we want to use, maybe what's cutting edge, what's new,
Sure.
new different plants that are coming out. So we kind of do that before we ever do anything on paper. So this year we really wanted to do bold, bright contrast. So
Right.
there's a lot of very bold colors,
Sure.
not a lot of light colors, pastels, and a lot of blacks in there mixed in.
Right. So if people come and visit this summer, but they've been here in previous summers, they won't see anything this year that's really the same as it might have been years before. The garden will look totally different.
The garden will look totally different. It's a totally new design this year. We change the design up every year. A few of the plants are repeated, but they're used in new ways and they're used in new combinations, so
With other plants.
Yeah, so
Sure.
they'll look like different things.
Do you start with the plants, or do you start with the concept of how the color all lays out and then find the plants to kind of fit the puzzle?
I start with the color without even thinking about plants at all, and I just kind of make sure that get a nice pattern on there, get the flow of the color
Sure.
around the edge as you walk through the space. I want this kind of repetition of colors, and then you go back and say, okay, I want something yellow there. What's 6 feet tall that's yellow? And then you have your options, and then we pick the best one from there.
Gotcha.
I would say be dangerous with your colors. Be bold, have fun.
Yeah, a lot of people are
Contrast.
afraid of color. I mean, having spent as many years, especially in retail as I did, people are really afraid of too much red or too much orange, or it's so strong, or I just don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
But I think coming to a place like this is great inspiration for what you can do at home. Okay, so after you have this sort of conceptualized and laid out, are there any surprises that kind of come along the way if a plant is out of stock or a crop failure or something like that? How do you sort of deal with
Sure.
those sorts of things?
Well, that is since we're using new plants, a lot of times there is a crop failure because we do grow things from seeds and
Right.
get plugs. So we may plan for something, but then it's not there, or we don't have it.
Right.
So we go to the next best thing.
Right.
There's
So
so many options within plants.
Always
and
kind of have a plan B in place.
There's always a plan B kind of in the back of my head. And we have to bend a little. Like one area I wanted kind of more of a tangerine plant, but I had to go with more of a golden yellow, which is close enough.
Right.
So it works.
Sure. So you just look for whatever the next best thing in
Yeah.
that combination might be.
There's always the next best thing.
Sure. So from conceptualization on paper, then this sort of starts to become reality as the plants are growing in the greenhouse in the early spring. So what happens when you actually, bring them outdoors and do the change out?
Well, we have to pull everything out since it changes twice a year.
Sure.
We pull all the violas out and then we compost those. So then we have a whole new palette to work with that we've got here. So we lay them all out based on the sidewalk lines. It's kind of what we use as a scale
Sure.
to let us know where we are from the paper to reality.
Right.
Since the pattern is kind of complicated.
Right. So you have some plants sitting here ready to go in the ground, and tell everybody at home what that is.
Yeah. These are canna tropical salmon. They stay about that high. They get about 3 feet tall, and they have this really nice salmon-colored flowers throughout the summer. They'll continue to send up new stalks and spread. And they can potentially be perennials as well, the tubers.
Right. And then in with that, you've got a new zinnia.
Profusion Red Knee-High is a new zinnia in the Profusion series. It's
Right.
a little taller than the original Profusions.
So hopefully the same disease resistance and all of that as the Profusions.
Exactly.
And lots of blooms, but a little taller plant.
Drought tolerant as well. A lot of the plants in here are drought tolerant. We really don't spray any of these annuals. That's one thing that we take into consideration from the beginning.
When you're choosing varieties.
When we're choosing plants is how tough they are, how much disease resistance they have,
Sure.
and how long they're going to last.
Right.
We want them to last all the way through into the frost. So we
Right.
can't have something that's going to burn out midsummer.
So this really only changes out twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall.
Yes, and we do kind of have a transition in the fall as well. Some of these front areas that are smaller like this, with the plants that stay low, we transition them into a mum.
So the mums have already been grown,
Yes,
and
they have
basically
already
they're
been grown.
coming into bloom, and you just will pop out some of the color that's toward the front and be able to pop in a mum
Yes.
right behind it.
Yes, because in the summer, a lot of the plants, especially in the late fall, they kind of get tired and they look.
Sure.
And it's just nice to bring in that burst of fall color
Little
with
burst
the mums.
of color, yeah, sure. Obviously, you're doing things on a very large scale here. How might somebody be able to repeat this same sort of look in their home garden?
Well, if someone comes here to Cheekwood and sees things that they like, a pretty combination, you don't have to have 50 or 100 of them. Take one of the things that you like and then put those together and get that same combination maybe in a pot or a little corner at home.
Sure.
So you kind of have that same feel of that combination of plants
Right.
on a small scale.
Or if your beds are a little larger, you could even do groups of 3s or 5s. One of the things that I notice as I'm standing here looking is this black pearl pepper that's planted at the front of this bed, and how it plays off of the barberries that are obviously permanent. So it might be important for people at home to kind of look at what they already have existing in their landscaping.
Sure, and that can include, your front door, the color of that, the brick wall, remember the things that are there and existing, like you were
Right.
saying, and play off that color and go for contrast.
Right,
Make it fun.
And it's not just about the plant combinations in the garden, but the way that they relate to the house. So if your front door is bright red, or your shutters are a certain color, or whatever, you can pull all of that together and let the plants sort of play with that.
Sure.
For gardeners at home, what are some of the advantages of annuals, and maybe some of the trade-offs, that you might experience using annuals versus perennials?
Well, the advantages are, you really have such a huge selection, and since it's an annual, you have it for that one season.
Right.
You get to change it up every year if you want to. And that's fun. And it also, since you're changing it up, you get to kind of play with design and see things, try new things, like I was saying earlier.
Right.
Try some colors that you wouldn't necessarily pick, but if you pick a tree that's got that, you're stuck with it.
Sure.
With annuals, you're stuck with it for a summer.
A season or a summer. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't plant annuals because of the cost or whatever, but sort of my perspective, and this is just my personal perspective, but I can go out and spend $4 to $6 on something that's going to give me 6 months worth of pleasure in the garden from May until November. So in one way, that's actually a good investment, because at the end of the season, I can change it out and do something different. Philip, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for giving us a little behind-the-scenes tour here at Cheekwood today.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.